Hello YouTube, and welcome back to my Java programming tutorial series. In today's lesson, we're going to teach you the basics of making a pop-up application. So the first thing you got to understand is how the entire Java programming layout works. Under your source file, we're going to create a package, and a package is very essential if you're going to be referencing class files from one to another. If you create a package, usually people use a domain. So for me, it's net.matthewald. And in case you haven't caught the reference, basically it's just in reverse. And we're going to put it under play free. Now, each one of these dots, basically think of them as backslashes, and they're just making directories. I can show you that in the physical disk. We go to our workspace, and we go to the tutorial series. We go to play free. Under source, you'll see net, Matthewald, and play free. So it's basically just making folders. Under here, we're going to create our first class, and we'll just call it play free. You can call it whatever you want, but play free just seems to work. The first thing we're going to want to do is create the static void main, which is essential to any application that's going to be launched. So public static void main, and then string array args, meaning arguments. Now with this being done, you can now launch the application, but you'll see that it doesn't do anything. It just kind of terminates itself because it has nothing to do. So the first thing that we're going to want to create is making our window. Now I'm going to separate this so it's easier to see. You got your publics and your privates. The difference between a public and a private is if it's private, no other classes can see this information. If it's public, other classes can. So private, we'll go private JFrame window. Now, most coders, they tend to put static here, and by doing so, it'll work under main, but I found an easier way around it. We'll just say new play free, and now you don't have to have static on anything. What it's going to do when it boots up is it'll say it needs a new one of these. So what we'll do is we'll create the constructor, play free, and bam, there it is. So if I were to go system.out.println hello world, when you launch this application in the console, it says hello world. So it knows to reference right here. So since we have that, we can set up our window. Window equals new JFrame. Now we're going to want to give it a title, and the title is going to be static and public. So we'll say public static final, meaning it can't be edited by code, string title equals play free version space. And we'll add our version tag. Now to get a version, we need to declare it just above it, and it also has to be a public static final. We'll say integer version equals no, we'll use a double because doubles have decimal places. So version equals 0.001. Now here we'll add the title, so now when it boots up it'll have that title. Now if we were to launch it right now, I'm saying now a lot, we launch it, you'll see it tries to do something and then it terminates itself because it's not displaying anything, so it's like, what am I doing here? Goodbye. So we'll set our width and our height, so set size, app width, and app height. And we'll get errors because these don't exist. We'll have to create them up at the top because they're public. We want other classes to see them. So public static final int. Now you don't have to do final for everything. If you want them to be able to be changed, just remove the final, but I'm going to have a static. So app width equals 800 and app underscore height equals 600. Now, we'll try to launch this again, but it says nothing's being shown, it terminates itself. Window.setVisible true. So now it'll show the window, but when you close it, it's not going to do anything. It'll just crash. Well, it won't crash, it'll just keep running like it's still there. So it would never close actually. So we'll just remove that manually. And I'll show you how to fix that. You go window set default close operation. Now it's asking for an integer. That's because you want to reference JFrame and then exit on close. Save that. Now you have a fully working pop-up application. It doesn't do anything, it's pretty blank and pretty bare, but that's what this tutorial is about. It's teaching you the fundamentals of making a pop-up application. It can be resized, it can be expanded, it can be minimized, it'll still be down here. You bring it up, you can close it, and it'll actually shut off the program. And if we want to make it so it's not resizable, it's really easy. Just go window.set resizable and put false, meaning no, it's not allowed to be resized. So now if we go here, you'll see the maximize and minimize type thing. This, you can't click it, and you can't drag the edges. It's set to the size you set it to. If you want to get really fancy and create your own decorative borders, you go window.set undecorated true. So now it's not going to have any operating system type things, it'll just be a blank box. So that's it for today's tutorial. Tune in in our next tutorial where I'll be teaching you how to make basic controls. And what I mean by controls is buttons, text boxes, anything you need to actually draw your own custom interfaces instead of using the default built-in swing libraries.